uh, Hare Krishna, welcome to all devotees. Today we start new chapter, Canto second chapter, fifth, the cause of all causes. We try to understand Shloka Kramanka 32 and 33. We try to understand one without a second, understanding the Supreme Lord's role in creation and his simultaneous oneness and differences. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Narayanam Namaskritya
नारायण
Naram
नमस्कृत्य
Chaiva
नरं चैव
Narottamam
नरोत्तमं
Devim
देवीं
Saraswatim
सरस्वतीं
Vyasam
व्यासं ततः
Tatha Jayam
जयमुदीरये।
Udire Nashtaprayeshu
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
Bhadreshu
नित्यं भागवत
Nityam
सेवया।
Bhagavata Sevaya
भगवती
Bhagavati
उत्तमश्लोके
Uttamaśloke
भक्तिर्भवति
Bhaktir
नैष्टिकी।
Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Mm. यत एते अस असंगता भावा
यत एते असंगता भावाः
असंगता भावा भूत इंद्रिय मन गुणाः
भूत इंद्रिय मनः गुणाः
यत आयतन निर्माणेन
यत आयतन निर्माणेन
शेकु ब्रह्मवित्तमः
शेको ब्रह्मवित्तमः।
तदा संवृत्य च अन्योन्यम
तदा संहत्य च अन्योन्यम्
भगवत शक्ति चोदिताः
भगवत शक्ति चोदिताः।
सत् असत्वम उपादाय
सत् असत्वम् उपादाय
उभयं सृजुः हि अधः
स उभयं सस्रजुः हि अधः।
यदा एते असंगता भावाः
यदा एते असंगता भावाः
भूत इन्द्रिय मनः गुणाः
भूत इंद्रिय मनः गुणाः
यत् आयातन निर्माणेन
यत् आयातेन निर्माणेन
शेखो ब्रह्मवित्तम
न शेखो ब्रह्मवित्तम।
तदा संवृत्य च अन्योन्यम
तदा संवृत्य च अन्योन्यम्
भगवत शक्ति चोदिताः
भगवत शक्ति चोदिताः।
सत् असत्वम उपादाय च
सत् असत्वम् उपादाय च
उभयं ससृजुः हि अधः
उभयं ससृजुः हि अधः।
यदा एते असंगताः भावाः भूत इन्द्रियमनः गुणाः यदा आयतन निर्माणेन शेको ब्रह्मवित्तम तदा संवृत्य च अन्योन्यं भगवत शक्ति चोदिताः सत् असत्वम उपादाय च उभयं ससृजुः हि अधः। हरे कृष्ण।
यत् एतैः असंगता भावा भूत इंद्रिय मनः गुणाः यत् आयतन निर्माणेन शेको ब्रह्मवित्तमः तदा संहृत्य च अन्योन्यम् भगवत् शक्ति चोदिताः सत् असत्वम् उपादाय च उभयं ससृजुः हि अधः।
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Narada, best of the transcendentalists, the form of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature are not assembled. Thus, When all these became assembled by force of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this universe certainly came into being by accepting both the primary and secondary causes of creation. Purport. The different types of bodily construction of the living entities are exactly like different types of motor cars manufactured by assembling the allied motor parts. When the car is ready, the driver sits in the car and moves it as he desires. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The living entity is as if seated on the machine of the body, and the car of the body is moving by the control of material nature, just as the railway trains are moving under the direction of the controller. The living entities, however, are not the bodies. They are separate from the cars of the body. But the less intelligent material scientists cannot understand the process of assembling the parts of the body, namely the senses, the mind, and the qualities of the material modes. Every living entity is a spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Being, and by the kindness of the Lord. For the Father is kind to his sons. The individual living beings are given a little freedom to act according to their will to lord it over the material nature. Just as a father gives some playthings to the crying child to satisfy him, the whole material creation is made possible by the will of the Lord to allow the bewildered living entities to lord it over things as they desire. Although under the control of the agent of the Lord, the living entities are exactly like small children playing the material field under the control of the maid servant of the Lord nature. They accept the Maya or the maid servant as all in all, and thus wrongly conceive the supreme truth to be feminine, goddess Durga, etc. The foolish, childlike materialist cannot reach beyond the conception of the maid servant material nature, but the intelligent grown up sons of the Lord know well that all the acts of material nature are controlled by the Lord, just as a maidservant is under the control of the master. The father of the undeveloped children, the parts of the body, such as the senses, are the creation of the Mahatattva, and when they are assembled by the will of the Lord, the material body comes into existence and the living entity is allowed to use it for further activities. This is explained as follows. In this verse, it is clearly mentioned that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exerts his different energies in the creation. It is not that he himself is transformed into material creation. He expands himself by his different energies as well as by his plenary portions in a corner of the spiritual sky of Brahmajyoti. A spiritual cloud sometimes appears, and the covered portion is called the Mahatattva. The Lord then, by his plenary portions, as Mahatattva lies down within the water of Mahatattva, and the water is called the causal ocean, Karan Jal. While Mahā-Viṣṇu sleep within the causal ocean, innumerable universes are generated along with his breathing. These universes are floating and they are scattered all over the causal ocean. They stay only during the breathing period of Mahā-Viṣṇu. In each and every universal globe, the same Mahā-Viṣṇu enters again as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and lies there on the serpent-like Shesh incarnation. From his navel sprout a lotus stem, and on the lotus Brahma, the Lord of the universe, is born. Brahma creates all forms of living being of different shapes in terms of different desires within the universe. He also creates the sun, moon, and other demigods. Therefore, the chief engineer of the material creation is the Lord Himself, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10. It is He only who directs the material nature to produce all sorts of moving and non moving creation. There are two modes of material creation: the creation of the collective universes, as stated above, done by the Mahā-Viṣṇu, and the creation of the single universe, both are done by the Lord, and thus the universal shape, as we can see, takes place. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantika Vandeham Guroho Sri Tapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 5th, the cause of all causes, and we try to understand the shloka number 32 and 33. Here, Brahmaji told to Narada the how the transcendentalist based the forms of body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature are assembled. Means without assembling of the elements, senses, mind, and mode, there is no created any part, not any creation took place. Uh, and here they again describe about the and again they describe about the um, assembling the part of the process. Scientists cannot understand the process of assembling the part of the body like senses, minds, qualities of the material modes. Every living entity is a spiritual part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And next shloka, they also describe about the Mahā-Viṣṇu, causal, how they uh, sleep on the causal ocean, and how they breathing and how they uh, all these universes are floating and scatter all over the causal ocean, and then they enter as a Garbhodakshay Vishnu in uh, the Shesha incarnation, serpent like Shesha incarnation, and their stem arose, and that stem Brahmaji exist. And this is also told in Bhagavad Gita, so that the uh, only the Supreme Personality directs the material nature to produce all sorts of moving and non-moving things. All these things are discussed in the two shlokas. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhu bhevacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo nama. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So Brahmaji is making us very, very clear about the whole creation now. So very first fact which comes out, it is towards the end in Prabhupada's but that is ideally a very first fact that there are two levels of creation. If we talk of modes of material creation, there are two levels. One, the collective creation of the universes by Mahā-Viṣṇu, which is the first aspect. And second, is the creation and organization of each individual universe. So one is the whole collection, and then within each, how it is going to be created and organized. And for each universe, we know there is one Brahma. So both these acts, if we see, they are relying on the will as well as energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Mataji explained to us, see, on the causal ocean, there is Mahā-Viṣṇu who is lying. He breathes out, the universes gets created. In each of the universe, he comes in as Kshirodakshay Vishnu. He sleeps, from his navel comes the lotus, and then Brahmaji comes and then he does the secondary creation. So, creation is by the Supreme Lord's energy, it is not transformation. So, the whole creation, it depends on the energies of Krishna. There is no transformation of his own form. Krishna remains as he is. Only thing is, he expands through his energies and plenary portions. So he remains transcendental and untouched by the material interaction. And that is the process of cosmic creation. Now, portion of the spiritual sky, we know, is covered by the Mahat Tattva, which is like a cloud. So, in this Mahat Tattva, there's a Karanajal or the causal ocean. Mahā-Viṣṇu is lying there. And with each of his breath, innumerable universes. And here he is entering as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and as we saw earlier. So, Vasudev is the ultimate source. And it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, 7th chapter, as Mataji said, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So, everything is ultimately Lord Krishna. There is no higher truth than Vasudev. Creation, maintenance, destruction, though it is performed by, say, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shivji, they are all under the direction of Vasudev Krishna. So, in fact, this oneness is something which resolves the differences between personalism and impersonalism. Because both concepts of personal and impersonal nature of Krishna are simultaneously valid. Krishna is present everywhere through his energies, so that is impersonal, but he is also present everywhere through his plenary forms, so they are personal. And this is the principle of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference, which is established by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. So, can we understand this concept of oneness and diversity through some analogy? So, yes. A tree has branches, it has fruits, it has leaves. So, branches, fruits, leaves, all are different, but they are still the part of the tree. So, Lord's energies manifest variety, yet remain non different from him. Another example could be heat and light. They are inseparable from sun, but still they are distinct. So, what this means is Krishna is Advitiya, second to none. And there are practical implications for us here, that we should respect everyone. We should have respect for all. Because Paramatma resides in everyone. Every body is a temple of the Lord. Whether it is a human body, a bacterial body, a tree body, or any aquatics body, or any other body. With each soul, Paramatma is present. So the moment this dawns on us, automatically this realization counters racism, prejudice, violence. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, if you all remember, 6th chapter, Shloka number 30, yeah, 30, 31, 32. Krishna makes it very clear that a perfect yogi sees the Lord everywhere, treats all beings with equality. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasya aham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6.30. For he who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So the question automatically comes, how do we develop that vision? Because only if we have that vision, then we can worship the super soul. सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजते एकत्वम् अस्थित सर्वथा वर्तमानपि स योगी मयि वर्तते. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances, and is automatically liberated. In Narad Pancharatra, it is confirmed that दिक्कालादि अनवच्छिने कृष्णचेतो विधाय च तन्मय भवति क्षिप्रम जीव ब्रह्मणि योजयेत्. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. So such are the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And Vedas confirm it. Ekopi san bahudha avapati. Although the Lord is one, he is present in innumerable hearts as many. So Vishnu is one, and yet he is simultaneously all pervading by his inconceivable potency. In spite of his one form, he is present everywhere as the sun appears in many places at once. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we need to understand Lord's omnipotency and energies. The Lord manifests primarily through three energies: the internal spiritual energy, Samvet or Alhadini or the Sandhini, the marginal energy, the living entities, and external energy, the material nature, which consists of the three gunas. So even great beings like Brahma and Shiva, they are subordinate to him. So once we understand it, automatically we understand the role of faith and devotional hearing. Complete faith and reliance on Krishna, developed by regular hearing, Shravana, of scriptures like say Srimad Bhagavatam, qualify one for spiritual advancement and ultimate liberation. And this is something which we saw confirmed in the 10th shloka of first chapter of this second canto, where it is emphasized that hearing from a bona fide devotee like Shukdev Goswami leads to liberation. So the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, which is explained in Bhagavad Gita, is the surest means for perfection. Faithful engagement in Krishna consciousness grants all spiritual benedictions that we can think of. The only expectation is that the faith must be unflinching, even during hardships. Because true faith does not fluctuate with circumstances. And regular hearing, chanting strengthens this faith and leads to perfection in Krishna consciousness. So, what Prabhupada ji, through the purports to these two shlokas, is trying to explain to us is the supremacy of Krishna consciousness. Faithful devotion to Lord Krishna equips a person spiritually. And as mentioned in 4.39 of Bhagavad Gita, a faithful sense control person attains peace and supreme knowledge. And that is why Krishna is described as Mahapurush. And by following Shukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj will surely attain salvation, because here we see the example of a right teacher, a right speaker, a right preacher, and the example of an ideal disciple, an ideal listener, an ideal follower. So, to conclude, I would like to remind everyone that we need to understand deep cosmological truths with practical spiritual application. As has been emphasized here, that Lord Krishna is the source, maintainer, and ultimate goal of everything. This unique position of Lord Krishna as the all pervading, ultimate reality manifesting in personal and impersonal aspects. Faith, developed by regular scriptural hearing, is both the means and symptoms of spiritual progress, culminating in liberation. So, let us all make it a point to ensure that through faith, hearing, respectful conduct, we will be able to transcend material duality and experience the Lord both within and without. And when we are able to do that, we'll be in a unique position to achieve the ultimate objective of our life, which is Krishna Prem. And for that, it is important that we follow the four regulative principles. We ensure that we complete 16 rounds of chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum with quality. You always remain in association of the devotees, either online or physically. We keep on reading the scriptures. We keep on ensuring that in our house we do the deity worships. And if we don't have deities at home, then do some worship to the deities in the locality, the nearest temple, and always engage in some service to the devotees, to Guru, and to Lord Sri Krishna. This way, we'll always be on the right path of ensuring that we don't make any mistakes and achieve the objective of our life. Hare Krishna.